One of Luke and Stefan's favorite things to do was to skip school and cruise around downtown in the middle of the afternoon. Living in a small town meant that there wasn't a lot of people around, especially in the middle of the day, and they were usually the only ones in their favorite places like the small arcade and ice cream parlor. But one of their favorite things to do was to go catch the matinee screening at the tiny theater downtown. The movie theater always had interesting, quirky films to spend time laughing at, but today seemed like an extra special event. The advertisement was claiming that today's film was in 3D. Luke and Stefan had never been to a 3D film before, as usually and cost way too much for the small-town theater to afford, so they eagerly bought tickets from the owner. "You sure you boys are supposed to be watching this?" the owner asked quizzically, frowning at the two boys over the counter. Of course. We, are on a special assignment from our homeroom teacher," Luke quickly said, assuming that the owner was wondering why they weren't in school. "Okay, whatever your teacher wants." The owner shrugged, not willing to judge at the risk of losing money. "Enjoy the show. Hope it gives you a new perspective on your assignment." The two boys nodded and quickly entered the theater before more questioning could continue. They were surprised to see that they were the only people there and quickly grabbed two seats in the middle of theater. Usually there were at least one or two other people, and occasionally even other kids playing hooky, but Luke and Stefan were too excited to care. They were a little disappointed when they saw big clunky helmets raised behind their seats as opposed to the cool glasses they heard about 3D movies having, but they brushed it off. "At least they have free beverages," Stefan exclaimed, pointing to some small containers sitting in a cup holder next to their seats. After getting settled in, the movie finally began to start, running through some previews, then finally getting to the feature presentation. The large helmets slowly lowered over the boys' heads, and soon the title of the film was displayed in large font in front of the screen, "A Walk in Her Shoes." "Aw, man, no wonder no one is here," Luke complained. "It's going to be a stupid chick flick." "Shut up, dude," Stefan said. "This 3D is awesome. Plus, free drinks. And maybe the lead actress will be hot." The boys fell silent, slowly sipping their sugary drinks, and grew more relaxed. The music and dialogue seemed to be fully surrounding them because of the speakers embedded in the helmet-like contraptions, which was pretty awesome. Plus, they were pleased to see that the lead actress was indeed an attractive brunette. But the film took a strange turn when the main actor agreed to a bet where he had to dress as a woman for a week. "This is weird, dude," Stefan murmured, not sure what to think of the strange plot. "I thought this would be a chick flick. Seems to be more of a weird sissy movie." "Yeah, it's kind of messed up," Luke agreed. "But we paid $10 to see this movie, we might as well finish it. Just drink your soda." The guys continued slurping their sodas, barely noticing as their discomfort began to fade away, even as the lead actor was willingly trying on very feminine clothes. When the main character decided to go to a salon for a makeover under the guidance of the beautiful brunette, Luke and Stefan weren't really second-guessing his decision. "This surround sound and visual details are quite impressive," Luke begrudgingly admitted as the hero sat in a salon chair. "Yeah, even if the plot is pretty unbelievable, the film itself is worth the $10, Stefan agreed, as he continued drinking his soda. The two boys watched totally transfixed as the man in the chair had his hair lengthened and dyed, while all hair on his face was removed. They did not notice as the helmet began mixing chemicals into their hair and zapping their minimal facial hair with electric currents, mimicking the actions on the screen. The only sign they gave of noticing the changes was when the perm rods in the actor's hair were being heated. "Sniff, sniff, you smell something burning?" Luke asked. "Well, I am feeling a little bit hotter, But it's probably just the popcorn machine in the back getting turned on, Stefan said, dismissing his friend. Now shush, I want to see what happens next. The two teens watched as makeup was artfully applied to the increasingly feminine-looking face of the lead actor, highlighting his eyes, outlining lips, and curling his lashes to their peak length. They giggled in response to the tickling sensation of blush being applied to their face and the lengthening of their own eyelashes, but thought they were laughing at the sight of shock on the man's face as he looking in a mirror at his made-up face. They didn't even notice as their hands, which had been handcuffed to their armrests for almost 10 minutes, were painted in sync with the motions on the film. Wow, that red is a really cute color on his nails. Stefan exclaimed, not thinking what a strange statement that was, especially considering that his own nails were equally red. Luke, whose nails were now pink, stated, "Totally. And that smoky eyeshadow technique is fabulous." Of course, both boys had the same technique expertly applied on their own faces. The film continued on, as the heroine's hair was unleashed and styled in a mass of platinum blonde curls, before she moved on to a dress shop in the back of the store, the screen fading to the words "Intermission." In the theater, the lights turned on again, the helmets lifted up, and the handcuffs released the two boys, allowing them to stand up and stretch. "Boy, Steph, this movie sure is different than I expected," Luke said, as he primped his hair, oblivious to the fact that it was now blonde and extremely curly. "You can say that again, Lou. Say, speaking of different, what happened to your hair?" Stefan asked as he looked at his best friend closely. "I got it styled at the salon when we skipped school last week, remember, silly?" "That's when we got your hair fixed up too," Luke said, fluffing his friend's fiery red curls. Suddenly he frowned as he looked closer at Stefan's face. "But I don't remember your lashes looking that long, or your lips being that full. What happened?" "Lou, you're such a blonde, don't you remember that we decided to gussy ourselves up before we hit the town today?" Stefan giggled. "You helped even apply each other's lipstick. You did mine red and I did yours pink." "Oh yeah, I totally forgot." Luke giggled, suddenly remembering. "I guess I'm forgetting stuff because I'm so hot. This theater needs an AC or something." "You know what, Lou? We should strip down, it would cool us off and send a message to that crotchety old owner," Stefan said with a gleam in his eye. "Totally, Steph." Luke agreed, and the two boys stripped down to just their boxers, not noticing the sharp contrast between their hairy teenaged bodies and their soft, feminine features above the neck. Not quite as cool as I would have hoped," Stefan sighed after the deed was done. "I wish we had more of those sodas to cool us down." Luke nodded, then saw something down at the front of the theater. "Hey! Those look like some more sodas down there," he exclaimed, pointing his pink nail down near the screen. The two boys scampered down front and discovered there were indeed two new sodas sitting in the cup holders next to some very unique seats. They looked more like flatboards angled so that a viewer could lie down and still look up at the movie. They were covered in a soft material that looked quite comfortable. "Hey, we should move down here," Stefan said. "We could totally lie down on these and drink our sodas too." "Totally! They look so soft." "Oh, quick, let's get stretched out, the movie is about to start," Luke replied, and the two best friends quickly got horizontal and started slurping away, ready to watch the movie. The helmets were lowered onto their heads, as the black screen began to fade back into the movie. The picture returned with the glamorous platinum blonde heroine walking into the dress shop. She first took a stop in the back room to remove all of her body hair with a razor, then proceeded to apply to fleshy breast forms to her chest. The horny boys were too transfixed by the close-up shots of the shaving and breasts to notice the lasers zapping away their body hair and the new C-cup weights adhered to their chests by glue in the hot air from their helmets. Kind of hot, even for a guy, huh, Steph? Luke whispered to his friend. Uh-huh. Stefan murmured, before quickly drinking more soda to distract himself from the confusion of why he was turned on by a guy. Soon the beautiful brunette returned to help the feminized man. She selected a lavender bra and clipped it onto her transformee, as he then slowly pulled a matching pair of panties up his legs. The camera, of course, focused on the slow, sensual moment while mixing in shots of the heroine's face. The boys, now wearing pink and red bras fitted by mechanical hands, began to discuss these shots in earnest. "Do you think he's enjoying it?" Stefan asked as he watched transfixed by the movie. "I can't tell if his face is shocked or happy with all that makeup. With that assistant, he's probably thinking how lucky he is." Luke laughed boldly, before adding quietly, "Or because he looks so pretty." Both boys took a quick swig of their beverages after a slightly awkward pause following Luke's statement, then continued to watch the film as the heroine progressed into a dressing room. The heroine was getting shown a number of dresses, skirts, and blouses, then trying them all on. It was a 5-minute montage filled with close-ups, twirling skirts, and shapely curves, yet surprisingly, the boys didn't seem to get turned on. They were instead listening to the soothing music and statements blaring in the ears about, "How pretty this dress is, doesn't this color look great, and wouldn't you just kill to wear a dress like that?" "I would kill to have a dress like that," Luke murmured dreamily. "Yeah, but only if it was in a better color. Red for me and pink for you," Stefan said in response, not considering what a strange statement that was for a guy to say. Finally, the brunette woman and blonde man decided on a glittery purple mini dress that cut off about mid-thigh. It was tight and shiny, a fact emphasized when the movie focused on the dress sliding up the smooth body of the heroine. "Man, I didn't expect this 3D thing to feel real," Stefan exclaimed, as he felt the smooth red fabric from the board he was lying on wrap around him, squeezing tightly. "Yeah. I guess we have to give the owner some credit," Luke agreed, as he was suddenly wrapped in a glittery pink material that formed into a tight mini dress. The transformation of the heroine culminated when she slipped on a pair of sparkly purple pumps, grabbed a purple clutch purse, and was led out of the dress shop by the brunette to explore the world en femme. Both boys continued to watch the movie, slurping on their sodas, unperturbed by all the changes to their own appearance. That is, until they felt a familiar feeling. "Lou, I gotta go to the bathroom real bad, all this soda must be getting to me," Stefan said urgently to his friend. "Like, me too, Steph. Here, let's go together," Luke offered. The two boys adjusted their chairs so they could stand up, sliding into the glittery open-toed pumps awaiting them on the floor. They also grabbed the little clutch purses that appeared in next to them, not considering how strange it was for boys to be holding such an item. Together they walked out of the room, their heels and dresses forcing them to mince side to side like the heroine in the film, and made their way to the men's room. Both boys found they couldn't use the urinals with the dresses on, so they decided to squat in the stalls, pulling their boxers down to the floor. "This feels real nice, Steph," Luke sighed as he sat relieving himself. "Ew, Lou, that's gross." "I don't want to hear about it," Stefan said, as he got out of the stall first and looked at himself in the mirror. He frowned, something looked wrong. "No, not that," Luke called out from in the stall. "I like the cool feeling of not having my boxers on, it's nice." "Really?" Then you should totally, try the underwear in your bag. I already put it on and it feels amazingly light. Stefan replied, as he realized what was wrong. He needed more lip gloss. Oh, thanks, Steph. Luke called out, as he found the pink thing in his purse and slipped it on. Satisfied, he left his boxers in the stall, to find his friend plumping up his lips in the mirror. Oh, Steph, that's a great idea. I should totally, do my makeup too. Luke reached into his clutch for his own makeup and began the elaborate process of applying his mascara. Eventually, both boys spent almost a half an hour touching up their entire faces, making sure everything looked perfect. Finally satisfied with the work they learned under the hypnotic commands of the helmet, the two boys left the men's room and returned to the movie. They watched for about 10 minutes more, drinking their sodas as they waited for some big plot twist, but soon the movie was over without anything significant happening other than the makeover in the beginning of the movie. Finally, the two friends stood up to leave the movie theater. Man, Lucy, although the 3D seemed to be really sharp, the movie kind of stunk, Stephanie said to her best friend in pink. Yeah, it's totally unrealistic. A man dressing up like an attractive woman? Please. Lucy giggled, flipping her manicured hand girlishly at her red-headed friend. Next time we skip class, we should definitely do something more fun like a makeover or shopping spree. Stephanie exclaimed. Totally. Lucy agreed, as they minced past the old theater owner in their heels. Bye boys, hope you got a new perspective on your assignment. The owner laughed at the two boys with girlishly curled hair and tight mini dresses. Click-clacking in heels past him. Come back anytime.